Hi everyone, welcome to Tea Time with AuthorAID, which is a monthly community event of the AuthorAID where scholars from all over the world join with their favorite variety of tea or any drink and engage in informal conversation, extend their network, and explore the collaboration opportunities. We will thrive on informal and immersive discussion between the participants and the host, as well as among the participants. Welcome. The meeting is being recorded, so your being here will indicate that you are giving us consent to record the meeting. Some messages should have popped up on your screen, um, and I hope you are okay with us recording the meeting. Today, the theme of the Tea Time with AuthorAID is Challenges of Attending Global North Conference, Voices from Global South Scholars. There might be a lot of challenges, for example, funding, the language barrier, the visa issues, and we'll be exploring that together along with the practical solutions. We have one of our hosts, Dr. Farouk, with us. Farouk is right there on the screen if you can see him. Dr. Farouk Rathore is a professor and consultant in rehabilitation medicine and pain specialist at the Armed Forces Institute of Rehabilitation Medicine in Pakistan. He describes himself as a rehabilitation physician, learner, teacher, and a mentor. He has been affiliated with AuthorAID since 2008 in various capacities over a decade and a half. He has been an invited and plenary speaker at national and international conferences and chaired and co-chaired scientific sessions. He has also won multiple nationals and international awards, travel grants, and scholarships. He is an editorial board member of several journals and co-editor-in-chief of the JISPRM. He is passionate about teaching research writing and has conducted more than 130 workshops on medical writing, scientific misconduct, research ethics, evidence-based medicine, and presentation skills, uh, spacity management, and stroke rehabilitation around the world. Our another host is Dr. Charles Kalinzi. He will be joining us shortly, and I will introduce him when he joins. For now, before handing it over to Farouk, I'd like to introduce two few ground rules. The first one is please mute yourself if you are not talking because it will create a lot of sound disturbance. The second would be to feel free to utilize all the interactive features of the Zoom so that you can make this program as interactive as possible. You can also turn on your video and make this a very wholesome event. The other is feel free to reach out to me anytime during the session if you encounter any technical difficulties. Now I'd like to pass it on to Farouk. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Asta. And again, welcome everyone to this tea time. As Asta mentioned, it's going to be a bit of informal thing. And today our basic theme revolves around the topic of once researchers from the global south, the developing countries, they want to attend conferences in the global north, or let's say Europe, or maybe in Northern America, Canada. What barriers do they face? So before I start, just a quick question to all of you. How many of you have heard about Simon Sinek? Or do you know who the guy is? You can unmute yourself or you can write it in the chat box. Who is Simon Sinek? Anyone? Simon Sinek. I've just written the name in the chat box. Have you heard about his talk, his book, something like that? Yes, thank you very much. A public speaker, author, and leadership consultant. So, can someone name one of his most famous books? So, one of his most famous books is, which is a global seller, and I would strongly recommend all of you, whatever your background is, you are a researcher, you are someone from agriculture field, you don't do research, you are a consultant, you are a student, you are a professional. I would strongly recommend that you should actually read the book by Simon Sinek, Start with Why. So it's a great concept that Simon says. He says, whenever you want to do something, anything in life, whether it is professional or personal, you should always start with the question why you are doing it. So if I ask this question to you, my participant in this event, that what is the need for attending a conference in another country. And if you are from a developing country, it is actually a big challenge. It's a hassle. And you have to step out of your comfort zone. And we are going to discuss you have to do so many things that, in order to attend a conference in a global north country like Europe or America. So my first question to you guys is, before we start discussing the challenges, I mean, what's the need of someone in a developing country to go abroad and attend a conference in global north? So again, I would like to start with your why. I would like to know about your why you are interested in going to another country to attend a conference. What purpose does it serve? So again, open discussion. It's an informal. You can raise your virtual hand and I will request you to unmute, or you can sort of like write down in the chat box. So anyone, why would you like to leave your comfort zone and go to another country in order to attend a conference? Okay, networking and knowledge sharing, good. Increase knowledge, skills, networking, collaboration, okay. Know your strengths and weaknesses, dissemination of your research, okay. Professional development, meet other colleagues, networking, good, excellent. Anything else? Cutting edge, yes. Cutting edge research, exposure, good. So if you sort of like, I love this approach by Simon. So if you follow this approach, whenever you are asked a question or whenever you are about to do a task, do pause for a moment and ask yourself this question: why I am doing that? Going to another country from a developing country is a big hassle. Most of people are not doing that. So why you're interested? So these are really good sort of like suggestions. It leads to your own professional development. And probably the most important thing is you get an exposure to a world-class technology. Because for most of us, like I'm primarily based in Pakistan, it's classified as a developing country. We don't have much access to technology as it available in European countries or let's say Northern American countries. But in order to survive in academia, in order to grow professionally, you have to have access to cutting edge research. And let's be honest, most of us do not have those kind of resources where we can spend many months to years in another country, right? So once you go to these conferences, within few days, you are exposed to world-class research that is very cutting edge, research that is high quality. And within those few days, you might attend a master class, you might attend a networking session, you might attend a very focused workshop on a particular topic. And within those few days, you are going to gather a lot of knowledge. You are going to make new friends, and it's going to open up new horizons of opportunities for you if you take that first step. So, yes, it is very important for anyone, any professional from any background based in a developing country to sort of take that extra step, to get out of their comfort zone, to make that extra effort in order to attend a professional event or a conference in the global north. Because this is how it is. I mean, this is the reality of the today's world, that most of the uh, research is being done from those part of the world. You can always collaborate, but when it's come to funding, when it's come to dissemination of research, when it comes to generating new ideas, most of the things are coming for what we call the West, the global North, or the developed world. So I think now we are very much clear that why there's a need for professionals and researchers in the developing world to get out of their comfort zone and attend conferences, international conferences in other countries. Question number 2 from my colleagues: how many of you have attended international conferences out of your own country? Simply answer yes or no in the chat box. Then we are going to move forward. We are going to discuss challenges and stuff like that. Okay. No. Okay. Doesn't matter one conference. Even if you attended a single conference, a single event outside your country, please do share your experience with us. Yes or no? Good. So it's a mix of colleagues where many of you have attended some conferences and then some of you have not. I hope and really wish that those of you who have not attended will be able to attend these conferences once they get into this kind of discussion and dialogue. And those who have attended, I really hope you do it again and again and you gain more knowledge. You bring that knowledge back home and you make the world a better place. If I asked you, Describe your experience in one word, not a paragraph, not a sentence. So your experience of attending that international event and conference, one single word that would describe that experience. So what would word would be? Write in the chat box. Think over it. Yeah, no hurries. Learning. Okay. Dr. Nasir says learning. Nasir is a very good colleague. Experience, networking, enriching. Nice. Growth. Fantastic. Insightful. Mind opening. I love it. I love it. Yep. It's mind opening. I agree. Partnership. Good. Yeah. Insightful. Good. Excellent. Confidence. So Dr. Nasir has actually written a very good thing, confidence. We need to understand that the world is a global place, and we agree and we acknowledge that most of the research is coming from the West. They have resources and they have so many things at their disposal. And sometimes professionals and researchers based in the developing world, they think, like we don't have anything to share, or probably what I'm going to share is of no value at all. But once you go abroad and you start interacting with colleagues around the world, and you start sharing your own rich experience, your own data from that particular part of the world, you suddenly realize, honestly, you are not like someone who has nothing to share. You are not someone who is inferior to them. That gives you a lot of confidence, and then you are more open in talking to each other, sharing your experiences, sharing your research, and this actually leads to a positive cycle where you are more enthusiastic in presenting your next paper, your next research, and your next piece of information. So I really like this word confidence. Inspire. Ah, yes, this is nice. Anxious. Nasra says anxious. So, Nasra, ma'am, can I ask you why you were anxious? Can you please mute yourself and tell us why you were anxious? You can unmute yourself as well and talk if you want to talk, because we are going to do this both ways. You can write, you can talk, you can share. Okay. And if I
Yes,
ask
sorry.
you, yeah, sure, please. Yeah, go on.
Yes, I was thinking along the lines of if you're a first time.
Sorry, Nasra, please. So whenever you want to talk, first of all, please tell us the correct pronunciation of your name, because sorry, there are so many people and I might mispronounce your name, for which I apologize in advance. Then you introduce yourself, your name, your background, your country, and what you do, and then you start talking. Yeah. So please, Nasra, go on.
Uh, Thank you. Yes, you pronounced it right, Nasra. I'm a senior instructor and Faculty of Health Sciences librarian. I'm also a chair of the Research for Life Equity Committee, and I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. Yes, so as much as, yes, I've traveled to the international conferences, I think I was thinking about my first travel. There's anxiety when you're going to an unknown land because you don't know what to expect and the kind of people and how you're going to fit in. And you have already alluded to that. And that is the reason I said anxious. I mean, there's a bit of anxiety when you're going to a place that you don't know what you're going to get.
You are totally right. Going to another country, the fear of unknown, you're not sure what you're going to, face. And yes, there is a technological barrier between our countries and the countries in Europe and America. Sometimes even the travel is so overwhelming. What if I miss my connecting flight? Why if my flight gets delayed? Why it gets cancelled, and so many things. So I totally agree with that anxious part. But the more you do it again and again, you become more confident, and you start doing networking, and then you have so many resources at your disposal that the journey become easier. So thank you, Nasra, for sharing your experience. Now coming to the next part. So what were the three more? There could be like a million challenges. I have passed through them as well. But once you attended that international event, what were your three main challenges? Only three. So please either write or ask me to unmute yourself and then speak up. Only three challenges. And let's see if we agree on something or not. Because we are from different countries, we're from different backgrounds, we might see things differently, so we might have different challenges. Okay, yeah, Dr. Nasir, very important. Finances, visas, and then we'll discuss how to overcome that. Some good strategies. Visa, second person. Yep, I can understand. Accommodation, yeah. Visa, okay, I can understand your pain. Visa, anything apart from visa? Grants, yeah, okay. Finance, agree. Halal food, excellent, Fatma. Good point. Very specific to some people, but yes, it's my major concern as well. Grant, food, okay. Airport connections, language barrier, weather, travel, maybe travel planning, yeah. Missed flight due to time zone difference, okay. Safety, transportation, facing the unknown, totally agree. I mean, it seems you guys have actually passed through that phase and you have faced those challenges. So let me flip the question now. All of you who just shared these challenges, so what is a possible solution? Or how did you face that challenge? And how did you find a possible solution to the challenge that you faced? So, I mean, since most of you mentioned the word visas, so let's start with that. So, how do you face this challenge of visa? I mean, any good tips? And probably it's time that you start talking because it might be difficult to type all everything in the chat box. So if anyone can unmute him or herself and tell us how to overcome this barrier or challenge of visa.
Okay. So,
Yeah, Dr. Nasser, please go ahead.
Dr. Farooq. Okay. I'm Dr. Nasir Mansoor, consultant in rehabilitation medicine from Pakistan. And I would like to share my experience and I would like to give some tips. If you want to attend an international conference, the best thing would be planning. The more you plan in advance, you'll be able to get the best deals out of it. So do your homework first whenever you're going for a conference. Check the reputation of the conference, its programs, and its previous history, and then check for the country where you are going, its visa requirements and other requirements. Go through their visa websites and the requirements. Do it all in advance. Check their visa fees and stuff like that. So check their processing time. How much time do they take to offer your visa? And all the required document that you need. So you need to prepare them beforehand before you apply, so that you don't have any hassle while once you apply and then you get queries from them. This is it. Number two, you should look for grants, for travel grants, either from your own university, your own country, or from the conference organizers. You explore that and do that well in advance. So at times you get a full-fledged travel grant. At times you only get a registration. At times you only get a ticket or accommodation. So whatever you can get out of it, you should apply timely. And one main thing that I would like to emphasize is that is, whenever you plan a conference, don't just attend a conference. It will be great if you present in a conference. So the planning starts an year before. So you find a good abstract relevant to the conference, get it approved, and once your abstract is approved, then there are more chances of getting the grants, especially the registration, the travel grants, and the accommodation. So I would suggest that we work more on the presenting stuff at the conferences, and it will help us gain these grants or supports, financial supports as well. So these are my 2 cents from on this.
Thank you very much, Nasir. You have raised a very important point. So, those of you who are looking for travel grants and scholarship, you need to understand that you are not going to get a grant only to attend a conference, because the conference organizer, they prioritize these grants and travel scholarships and bursaries only to those participants from developing country who have something to present. So yes, doing your research and then having that courage to submit the abstract is a very important part of the whole paradigm of attending an international conference. You need to understand, as Dr. Nasir very clearly, eloquently stated, you have to sort of like plan in advance. And the planning might be at least 1 to 2 years before the conference, because many international conferences are the reputable one, the big one, they are nowadays advertised 2 to 4 years in advance, which means that you do have time to conduct good, impactful research, then submit that research in form of an abstract. And if it gets accepted as a poster or oral presentation, that your chances of getting this travel grant would be enhanced. Number one. Number two, honestly, as someone who has been traveling for more than 15 years, I can tell you the process of visa has become pretty streamlined and easy. I know that many visas get rejected. So one of the reason is that sometimes people do not follow the advice. For example, for people based in developing countries, these people from the global north, they are very particular about our finances, that whether we will be able to support our travel and stay there or not. So you have to follow everything that has been mentioned in the visa application. And I'm sorry, but I know colleagues whose visa were rejected because they did not fill in the application completely. So please remember, just like in life, simple things matter most. So do follow the advice and submit the application as per their criteria and whatever they say. And number two, yes, it's very important to know the timelines. So honestly, I'll be honest, let's talk of USA. So in many countries, for example, in Pakistan right now, the USA visa interview time, I mean, just you get an appointment after 6 to 8 months, and then you probably get 2 or 3 months more before visa is issued. So if you want to go to USA from Pakistan, you have to actually plan 9 to 10 months in advance. So please understand that these simple things, they add up, and either they make their journey easier or they create barriers for you. So one was there were a couple of people who had raised their hands. So if they can please unmute themselves and share their experience. I saw a couple of colleagues has raised their hand. Dr. Adikunle, you probably
Yes,
raised your hand. Yeah, please.
yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I am Adeleke Adekunle Isaac. I'm a lecturer and a PhD candidate at UKZN, majoring in injury epidemiology and prevention. Yeah, I'm just going to add just a sentence to what the former gentleman talked about. What I actually did was to contact someone that has been in at that similar conference. So the advice he gave me actually helped me out with the visa process, with accommodation, and I actually had it nicely because of the advice he gave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, the value of networking, the value of asking good questions to someone who has already passed through that experience. So thank you very much for sharing this really good advice. Another colleague, Elaine, probably, yeah, probably you asked to, wanted to say something. Please go ahead. How do you spell Elaine or Elaine? So please go ahead.
Yes, yes, okay. I also want to share some tips about
Please, first of all, introduce
attend to
yourself, please.
international conference.
Sorry, can you please introduce yourself, your name, your background, your country, where do you work, and then you can probably share your experience.
Yes, my name is Alain Brichueche. I'm from Cameroon. Yes, I'm PhD student. Yeah, I'm working on natural product. To against breast cancer. I was awarded a delay of visa, but or the tips that can be important when you talk about when you want to apply. The one information that when you want to apply for a travel grants, you need to have a money before because you have to pre-funding. Sometimes the organization will give you the grants after the conference.
Yes.
So sometimes you can need, for example,
Ellen, we cannot hear you. Sorry, Ellen, we cannot hear you. Probably some issue with the internet. Happens all the time.
If they travel, pay your money before. For think about to ask you a budget, you have to provide a small budget, not a big one, a small budget. But sometimes accommodation sometimes is a key element. So when even 3 months before to apply, sometimes organization give an email. You can email her, ask them to give you some cheap accommodation with the price. So in that way, you can go to booking.com, scroll for the less expensive, because when you want to apply something at that moment, the how to say, the accommodation is cheap, far from the time of the conference. So the price that you can make a reservation can be really less expensive. Yeah. So when you do that, 3 months before the process of before to apply, you are going to have a good information, a good face for your budget, for your accommodation. So you can have a good budget. So yeah, that's the two element that you need to think about. What I want to share.
Thank you very much. These are really good advice. So I totally agree with you. The first one about that many conferences would give you reimbursement of the expenses, which means that you have to arrange funding for yourself. You have to spend the money yourself. And only after the conference, you have to submit the bills and the air ticket, and then they are going to reimburse. So yes, it is important to arrange finances before the event. Number one, good. Then you talked about the accommodation, and some of our colleagues have also mentioned accommodation as a major barrier. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do about accommodation. And again, I can tell you in the last couple of years, things are getting better. So one thing is you should try to register in advance. So once you try to register in advance, sometimes you get really good deals. The second option could be that you register through the conference. So many conferences, they negotiate reduced rate from the hotels nearby, and they get you a really good deal. But the third thing that we do, me and my colleagues, that whenever there are two or more colleagues going to the same conference, it is a good idea to share accommodation. And you can either go for Airbnb, you can go for either sort of this booking.com. And whenever we are two or three colleagues or more than that, we always book a whole apartment. So the apartment gives you that kind of home-like feeling. And then you have your own kitchen where you can cook food and you save a lot of money. So please do think of these things, that accommodation is expensive. I totally agree, but you don't necessarily have to go to a hotel. You can go to an Airbnb, a shared accommodation, a local host, and that can significantly reduce the cost of your stay during that conference. So, Andose, you want to say something? Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me the floor. I am Andose Genevieve, a PhD student in biochemistry at the University of Yaoundé 1 in Cameroon. So I just wanted to contribute by saying that sometimes difficulties that are faced by participants is that the organization that usually gives the confirmation to participants who have been selected for a conference, sometimes this comes late. And when people start the process for the visa, and you already explained, or someone already explained that in their country to get the visa to the US, for example, it's a very long process and it takes time. So in the context of having a late confirmation for acceptance to take part in the conference and you apply for the visa, it takes a longer time than expected. Even when you have all the confirmed documents and the booking for the air return ticket, that still doesn't make them go faster than they were expected to do. And so you get the response even after the conference that the visa was granted to you, but you cannot participate at that conference. So sometimes we have some colleagues who have gained from that experience, and such conferences that are frequent each year, now they plan ahead of time to be able to get the visa. So I just wanted to add to that point that it's important to know exactly the requirements of visa for each country and what you in your specific country really need, in order that you can prepare beforehand and ensure that you actually have the visa to partake at the conference when you have the funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Dose. You have raised a very important point that sometimes, even if we do everything as per the requirement, the visa gets delayed. It has happened with me. So I missed an opportunity for a 1 month long course in 2015 because I got the visa 5 days after the course had started. Very unfortunate, very frustrating. But as they say, we have to sometimes admit the reality that, in today's world, there are certain countries who have got very strong visas and very strong passport. They can go everywhere, and then there are countries like us where we have to do a lot of struggle. But having said that, I think if we keep on persisting, following advice, still we are going to get the visa. Dr. Nasser, you have your hand up. Can you please, what would you like to say add please? Dr. Nasser.
Thank you, Dr. Farooq. So I would just like to add more to it, like after getting the visa and after travel and accommodation is arranged, and once you reach there, so it's suggested that you reach there in a time that you have sufficient time to have a good night's sleep before you start the conference, because it's very exhaustive. It's a time that travel is around 14 hours, 15 hours flight with many connections in between. So you need to have a good night's sleep, and the jet lag may be there. So have good sleep. And then during the conference, check the scientific program thoroughly, because there are parallel sessions going on, and you need to select the best things that suits you and that are as per your interest. You select them, and you have to rush from one hall to the other hall to pick on those lectures. Then my suggestion would be that you don't just attend the conference. Try to book as much practical things like pre-conference workshops or during the conference workshops that are very helpful, and you can improve your skills as well. So these are a few small points regarding the conduct during the conduct of the conference, or even immediately before that.
Thank you, Dr. Nasser, for bringing up these very, very important points. And this point of Dr. Nasser, that you should ideally reach the conference venue at least 1, if not 2 days in advance. Because please remember, once you start your journey from a country like Africa or Asia, and you have to go all the way to Northern America or maybe Southern America. So honestly, that 14 to 18 and sometimes more than 24-hour flight would exhaust you. And if you are there and you can't even participate fully in the conference and you cannot enjoy the event, honestly, it's a loss. So thank you very much for this reminder that, booking one extra night so that you are fresh and well prepared to attend the main event is going to give you a lot of dividends. So thank you very much, Dr. Nasir. And he has also advised one more thing, that don't only focus on the main lectures only, try to attend some other pre-conference workshop, focus group discussion, and other training sessions, because that is going to be high value for the money that you have invested in that conference. And I would take it one step further. I mean, if you are in another country, please go on and also explore the local culture and cuisine as well. Because honestly, who knows when you are going to come back, or if you're not going to come back again because of lack of funding and stuff like that. So these conferences are sometimes actually life-changing events. You might want to do the best and the most in those 3 to 5 or 7 days that you are in another different country. Okay, so moving on, and again, some people have, okay, Edwin said missed flight due to time zone difference. Again, I would say, because of technology, we have so many different things available, so many tools available, time zone converter, timeis.com, and so many other things, that it's pretty easy to know what time. But if you have any confusion, it's always good to go online or check your ticket, because it's a very important thing. You might see, and you might know, for different cities and different countries, the time that is written on the ticket is actually the local time. So it's a possibility you are starting your journey at 5 p.m. in your country, and you are going to land at 5 a.m. And you are like, oh, it's only a 12-hour journey, but it might be an 18 or 20-hour journey because of the time zone difference. So it's something very important that you need to understand. Asta, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Yes, for this thing, the time zone difference and how we tend to miss the flight or connecting flights, what I usually do is I put it up in my calendar, the Google Calendar, and it just shows there, because it automatically converts the time to your own time zone, or whichever time zone you are at. For example, I have connecting flight at Qatar, so it will convert the time zone to the Qatar's time automatically. So maybe we can do something like this, put it in the calendar.
I think it's a very good suggestion. It's a very practical one, because all of us use Google, Gmail, and this Google Calendar, and this actually integrates, and it also changes your time zone. So very good and practical advice, Asa. Thank you very much. Ellen, you had also have your hands up, please.
Yes. I wanted to add something about the visa. A possibility for you to have to get fast your visa. Not normally your visa appointment. Yes. You can also, the organization of conference sometimes can help you by give you by contact your embassy that give you a quickly appointment. You can also ask support to the visa organization, to the conference organization, to request for a quick appointment for you for the visa. That's another one I want to add.
Yeah, so
because in
some
my
countries.
case, because in
Sorry.
my case, when I was applying for the visa for German, the member of committee of organization write a visa letter. She wrote a visa letter in two language, in German language and in English language. They asked me to bring that two letter to email the visa with that two letter. They can be more compelling for me, so that in that way I succeed to have a quick appointment. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ellen. You have raised a very important point. So it's a very good learning point from this tea time that if you are going to a country where English is not the primary language, let's say France, someone where Spanish is spoken, or maybe Chinese, stuff like that. So it's a good idea to request the conference organizers to send you two invitation letters, two official invitation letters. One letter should be in English, the other should be in a local language. Because please remember, the visa officer is not necessarily going to be a technical person or someone with a PhD. He or she might not be very comfortable with reading English, and you have to convince them that it's okay for you to go to their country. So having a letter in their own national language is a very good strategy. So thank you very much for this tip. Dr. Nasir, you would like to say something, please?
Yes, I would like to add that whenever you're going to a foreign country and you're planning to stay for a couple of days, don't forget to take a local SIM if possible. It will give you a great ease of move and connectivity all the time because you don't find Wi-Fi everywhere. Second suggestion would be to take some basic medicines along with you, the basic emergency medicine like for headache or for nausea or some allergy medicine. So don't forget to take your medicines because at time it gets difficult once you got problems abroad. And the last thing would be that beware of scammers, both online as well as physical scammers. So Google it out and find out which places are notorious for that and where they can catch you. So beware of the scammers if they offer you stuff or rides or any accommodation or any free stuff, and then you end up paying a lot of money. So we have to be careful about that.
Thank you for highlighting this very practical aspect because it would be very odd and very depressing if you go and, after so much of effort and you lose your money to a scammer. So again, my question to my colleagues here who have been abroad. So what strategies would you like to advise someone who wants to travel to another country and he or she wants to sort of like see where to go, where not to go, which place to hire, which not to hire? Any tips, any particular websites? Because I have a couple in mind, but first I would like to listen to you guys. So you can sort of like type it or just say it aloud. Because I follow uh, uh, Travel Wiki, because Travel Wiki is basically just like Wikipedia, but it is written by people, real people. It's not a commercial in that sense. So I really find the advice on Travel Wiki very good advice, and I tend to follow that. Then TripAdvisor is also a good one, and I usually follow the advice of TripAdvisor and the discussion board and the rating that they give. And then Lonely Planet is also a very good sort of resource. So these are my three to go resources. If you have some other resource, please do let me know. Then I'm going to go to the comments and see what yeah. Oh, so okay, Kudus and Nasra have mentioned again, if you do everything, your visa gets rejected. Honestly speaking, it's depressing, it's frustrating, but it's a reality with which we have to live. With we means people based in the developing world, because at the end of the day, somehow it is their prerogative, or it's their right to reject visa for no reason at all. You might feel frustrated. Sometimes they do. For example, just a couple of months back, my colleague's visa to Australia was rejected, but he immediately appealed the rejection. He immediately applied again. And on the second time, he was lucky. But I'm not sure if that works for everyone. Kudus, you want to say something, please? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. I just want to speak to the France application rejection. So I got a fellowship training program in France to go for a 1 month training in France. And I did apply. On the first occasion, I got a denial. So the second application, the inviting organization actually sent a document they called the hosting agreement, which to them was like top of form of, I mean, a high level document that is supposed to open door for me to get a visa. But surprisingly, when I submitted that document to the France embassy, through TLS to the France embassy, I still got a denial. And what is most irritating to me is the justification for the refusal, which was stated that I can't remember the exact words, but it states that my documents are not reliable and my purpose of visit is not genuine. That's despite providing the document from IAC, also providing the letter showing the sponsorship from UICC. So sometimes it's very, depressing when you get such type of response. Thanks.
I totally agree. As I just mentioned, I mean, these are the challenges with which we have to live. So again, and that's why I say to my colleagues based in the West or Europe or American colleagues, honestly, for you, it might not be a big deal to attend an international conference in your own country. But for people like us, it means sometime planning for that for more than 1 year, gathering resources for that. And that's why probably that's why we need that kind of support that we are looking for. Now, probably one important thing that we sort of like did not discuss, and we have only 10 minutes left. How do you people arrange funding? So, what is your strategy? I mean, I'm not talking about funding from your own pocket. I mean, that's also a good strategy. For example, in my case, because I'm a rehabilitation consultant, so I know that every year one international conference in my subject is going to be held somewhere in a country, and they have already decided our conferences till 2028. So I'm very much clear where the conference for 25, 26, 27, 28 is going to be held. So what I do on a personal level, as someone based in Pakistan, developing country, currency is not very strong. So each month, I actually save a certain amount of money in order to fund my travel at the end of 1 year. Because I know after 12 months, I'm going to make that travel. So I will look for travel grant. I do look for travel scholarships. But at the end of the day, I know it's a competitive world. And sometimes I'm not going to get the funding that I'm looking for. So each month, I save a certain amount of my salary and my earnings to fund that travel. That's one strategy. So what other strategies do you do? Anyone, please. Henry, did you want to say something? Any other strategy that you would like to share with us? And then probably I'll add some myself as well. So one of the strategies could be, again, depending on in which country you're working, in which institute you're working. Sometime your own local national scientific bodies, they would give you travel fund and grants. Many a time, the conference organizer themselves, they have specific travel grants, travel scholarships, and travel bursary for people specifically based in the developing world. And specifically, there are certain categories: low income countries and low middle income countries. So sometimes being in a low income country, you get full waiver, and being in a low middle income country, you get maybe 50% or 70% waiver. But any waiver is also good enough. Then there are certain global organizations, they also fund, and I'm not sure about right now, but like more than 10 years ago, when I started, there was a organization known as Emerging Nation Science Foundation. It was based in Italy, and I was lucky enough to get twice travel grant from them to attend conferences in Northern America and Malaysia. But again, you have to look for these yourself. And again, if nothing else works, probably it's a good idea to start saving a little amount each month so that you can self-fund your travel at the end of 1 year. Okay. And going back to the, so yeah, Andose has given a good, it will be good to have some basic information about the country where the conference will take place, such as weather, in-country transportation, etc., in order to prepare accordingly. Yes, I totally agree. It's a good idea to get all this information. And honestly, we are living in a world where we are hyper connected, and you can get all of these information while online. And you can actually also plan your travel even on the Google Maps as well. And in these developed world, they also give you the time of even their trains, their subways, and their buses. So it's a very good system to rely on Google for all your needs. One last question before, because time is almost up. So language barrier is a major issue. So how do you go about that? How do you, I mean, you are a, let's say you are in Japan or China, where people don't, everyone does not speak English. Even the signboards are not in English language. So how do you overcome that challenge? And I can tell you, 15 years ago, it was a major challenge. But if you ask me now, it's not a challenge at all. So what is your strategy?
So for me, I use the Google Translator.
Yes.
That's the only thing I know how to do.
So again, there are other really good tools out there, but I would say Google Lens and Google Translator is the best. And Google Translator translates, and if you use Google Lens, it is going to actually translate in real time. So that's sort of even better than Google Translator. And you guys, I'm not sure if you know or not, the latest update by ChatGPT, the one that all of you have access. Now you can actually talk in a voice, and it can translate or answer in any language that you want. So you might want to have a conversation with someone, let's say in Mandarin. So you say something in Chinese and you ask ChatGPT to answer in Chinese. It can answer real time in Chinese, and the person can then say in Chinese, and you translate that in real time in English. So please do try that ChatGPT voice feature that has been released a couple of weeks back, and now it's available to everyone, even the free version. So please, yeah, you have tried. Okay, yeah, fantastic. DeepL is a good translator. Yeah. Abimola, yeah, it's a very good. But again, many people are not very well versed with DeepL. So DeepL is a very good translator. You must actually try that as well. So, oh yeah, Tabitha has given something, a really good, nice tip. Just be aware that Google services do not work in China. So if you are traveling there, make alternative arrangement to using Google, including Gmail and Maps. So probably you might want to install a VPN while you're at your own city before you fly off, because VPN is a lifesaver for many, you know, right? So it's something again. So whenever there's a technological hitch, there is a technological solution to that hitch. You need to be just wise. Okay, funding agency, Toshiba. Yeah, so we just talk about that. Funding agencies could be your own organization, or there could be the conference where you're going. The organizer could be funding that, but it's a very competitive process. And then there are certain international organizations who also fund, but their criteria there differs, and you have to search for them yourself. WeChat work in China. Yeah, WeChat works, but again, many of us are not very comfortable on WeChat. We have not used that. We are more comfortable on WhatsApp and stuff like that. So I mean, you might want to use the VPN as well. Okay, and Dose has another good suggestion. Always ensure that your travel document passport is up to date. Very good, very important. Thank you very much. It's usually required. It is 3 to 6 months valid before expiry. You are totally right. Some colleagues who missed the opportunity just because at that moment, yes, you are very right. You have to have your valid passport. Before we break off, one quick tip that I would like to give you, even if you guys are not going to the USA in the next couple of years, probably it's a good idea to get a visa of USA. I'll tell you why. Because number one, usually they give you multiple entry visit visa for 5-year duration. And once you have a visa for USA, even for travel purpose, B1 or B2, please remember it's going to open up visas for other countries and make it very easier for you. One quick example. So Saudi Arabia, many Muslims go to Saudi Arabia. It was a hassle to apply for Saudi visa. Now they have started online visa. And if you have a valid USA visa, you can apply for Saudi visa online. And same goes for the Schengen visa of Europe and many other countries as well. So, I mean, if you like or not, this is how the real world is. Strong visas and strong countries visa do matter. If you get your hand on that, please do that. Yes, you will need a yellow card immunization for some countries. Thank you very much. It's a good suggestion. So only 3 minutes left. Any final thoughts? Oh, thank you very much, Tabitha. Yes, travel insurance. You must get a travel insurance, because God forbid if you fall ill, it's going to drain all of your resources. So first of all, pray that you don't get ill. I mean, keep yourself in a good health. And then please do get insurance. Do invest in a travel insurance till the time you are in a other country. Very important. And Dr. Nasir is totally right. Reflect after the conference what you have achieved, how would you have done differently, and how you can do better. Thank you. Yeah, Tabitha, I totally agree. The travel insurance nowadays is not very expensive. It's probably less than 1% of the total cost you're spending on your travel if it is more than 2 or 3,000 US dollar. Yeah, I totally agree. So any final thoughts from colleagues, because it has been a very sort of like interactive session and informal session. And again, I would like to thank Asta, Tabitha, and all the team from INASP and AuthorAID for giving me this opportunity. And I would like to thank each one of you who has contributed either by speaking up or by typing the response in the chat box, because I just realized we have been doing it for the last 56 minutes. And I mean, still, I mean, we can go on, but again, I think we have to respect the time. And this is one thing that, again, no disrespect, I work in a developing country, Pakistan. This is one thing where we sort of differ from people based in the West or, I mean, in Europe or America. They respect the time limits very much. And we are the kind of people who are totally okay with time. You can like spend hours and hours talking and doing things like this and that. So I'm going to stop here and hand over it to Asta again. So thank you very much. You are on mute. Asta, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. So before we leave, Tusiba has asked what required to get travel fund. What is required to get travel fund? I think we covered it up.
Yeah, we have covered it. First of all, usually in order to get a travel funding, you have to have a piece of research accepted as a poster or a oral. No one gives you simply a fund for just to attend. So you have to have something accepted for the presentation. Then you have to apply. Then you have to fill in certain forms. It's a competitive process, but if you do it, hopefully you'll get it.
Okay, then. Thank you so much, Dr. Farooq, for very interactive tea time with AuthorAID, just like we envisioned it, without presentation, without nothing. It is very, very interactive. We loved it. Uh, so in the chat box, I have shared with you certain links that will come handy while staying connected with AuthorAID. There is our Facebook link to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google Group. We are everywhere. In Google Group, our community members tend to share the opportunities, information from around the globe. So please feel free to subscribe to it. I'd also like to encourage you to sign up on our website. It is a hub of more than 15,000 community members. You can contribute the blogs, articles, your opinions, experiences on the topic of your interest, your research on our website. The link is there. You can also share the resources that have come handy to you during the scholarly journey and access other resources from the website. The link is there. Please save this up for the future use. So Tabitha has shared that Farooq has also recorded a YouTube video on attending international research conferences. You can watch it out on the YouTube. Yeah, you can do that. We have the YouTube channel with multitude of resources. So Farooq's video is very interesting and informative to watch. Go ahead and do that. Before we break, we'll take a picture. Before that, I'd like to invite your attention to something. AuthorAID is looking forward to rebranding itself. We started as a project providing support for academic writing, but now we are a global community of scholars. We would like for you to give input to us on what you have imagined for AuthorAID and what do you think about AuthorAID? What does it mean to you? Does it resonate with your experience as a member of this community, the name itself, the brand itself, the work we do, the overall image of the AuthorAID? So we'd like for you to request your insights on what AuthorAID means to you and how you'd like to see us moving ahead. For this, I am going to share with you the link to the blog, and it also has link to the Google form, which had just one question. It should take you less than 5 minutes, 2 minutes actually to fill it up. So feel free to provide your inputs to us. It will be very useful for the rebranding of the AuthorAID. If Tabitha would like to add something to this.
No, you covered everything. Just to say it's very important that we get your opinions on this. So please do take the time to read the blog post and then answer the question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It is just one question. And before we break out this Friday, we are going to take a picture so that I can post it on our social media. So if you are willing and willing to appear on our social media, please feel free to turn on your video.
Please do turn on, because nobody's going to recognize you from these 30 pictures. So it's safe. Yeah. Please
Oh,
do that.
yes. Okay. Is this all? Whether this is a good number? Okay. So, okay, smile everybody. Okay. And something fun, remembering that weekend is here and it's Friday evening. Something fun. Let's see the energy within the room after learning so much. I do something, but I have to take pictures. So yes, Nasta, I can see you. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay connected with us. Stay in touch. I've shared all the links from where you can stay in touch with us. I will share the recording of the events from the same link where from the same email address where you got the meeting link. Stay in touch. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
in. Have
Everyone,
a
take care.
great,
Bye. Have a
lovely
great
weekend.
weekend.
Thank you so much, Farouk.
Bye.